Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do a little bit of a fun spring look. I am gonna go through how I created this look. I mostly used products from my Project Pan and my Shop My Stash rotation for this month. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. If you like these types of videos, be sure to like and subscribe if you aren't already. Today is so beautiful outside. I think it's supposed to get up to like the 80s here in Michigan, and it just really feels like spring, so I really wanted to create a really fun spring look for you guys. Obviously not the most interesting look, but this is pretty bright for me and pretty intense. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. With that being said, let's just hop into it. So my skincare is on, so is the headband, so we're ready to get started. I just went in with the Hamish Artless Glow Base. I really like this for the spring summer as an SPF and just like a glowy base type of vibe. I think my skin looks really nice and hydrated. I am going to go in with my Maybelline Master Prime Blur and Pore Minimize Primer because this is in my Project Pan, but I'm really just going to focus this on the center of my face, and I'm just gonna pat this in. I've said it before, but I don't really think that primer does a whole lot for my skin, but I am trying to use it up because I have had it for a really long time, probably way longer than I actually should. So most of the products that I'm going to be using today are either in my Shop My Stash or Project Pan. I tried to pick items that were very springy when I did my Shop My Stash, and I'll link that video up here for you if you're interested in watching that. I'm gonna go in with my Dior Forever Skin Glow foundation. This is in the shade 2WO. I have really been liking this. Depending on how much coverage I want, I usually just go in with one pump, but one pump is not like a ton of product, so sometimes I do have to go in with two if I have a little bit extra blemishes and stuff like that. And I just kind of spread this out with my finger. And I'm going to use my sponge to blend this out. This is just a damp beauty blender. And I'm not trying to do anything too heavy in terms of base makeup. I really just want something to even out my skin tone that I know will last a decent amount of time. I'm going to go in with concealer. I'm just going to use my NYX Bare With Me Serum Concealer. Again, it's just in my Project Pan, so I want to try and get lots of usage out of it. And I have quite a few blemishes and acne scars and hyperpigmentation that I really want to cover up. And I'm just going to blend this out with my sponge again. I'm going to start with my eyes first because I want the concealer on my blemishes to dry down just a little bit so that I have a little bit more coverage. Two products that are new to me that I really want to try are these two from Milk Makeup and Tower 28. This is the Tower 28 Sculptino. I have mine in the shade Hammer, which is a tiny bit deep, and I have the Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick in the shade Stoked. So both of these are newer launches to me. I have kind of played with them a tiny bit, but really not a ton. I'm gonna go in with the Milk Contour Stick. I think I'm just gonna draw this on. I'm gonna do one side at a time, and I'm just gonna take this ColourPop F31 brush, and I'm gonna pat this out. And I'm going to try and keep it really focused on this specific portion of my cheekbone because I really do want a little bit more of a sculpted look. I don't contour that often, but I figured since it is getting to be that more springy time, I just want to feel a little bit more snatched. I feel like you can see a pretty big difference. This shade is definitely like a really good contour shade, I think. I definitely want to try the Tower 28 Sculptino though, because I have heard that that has more neutral undertones and not necessarily cool. On the other side of my face, I'm gonna go in with the Milk Makeup Sculpt Stick again, but I'm gonna pick it up on my brush instead of drawing it on. Sometimes I find that that's easier to blend out that way. I think I like it more when I pick it up on a brush. I just feel like I have a little bit more control, and I feel like I have a more even application because it is like a little bit of a stiffer cream. So when you draw it directly on your face, it can be a little bit hard to blend out. I do want to try out the Tower 28 Sculptino, but I'm not entirely sure that you would even be able to notice it with the Milk Makeup contour stick on. So I'm gonna save this for a different makeup look, different video. Instead, I am gonna go in with blush. I am gonna go in with a little bit of my Rare Beauty liquid blush in the shade Joy. Again, this is in my project pan. I'm gonna use a ColourPop F32 brush and just really work it into those bristles. For highlighter, I'm going to use my Merit Day Glow in the shade Citrine. This is kind of like a really strong gold shade, but I think it's really pretty still. I like to go in with my finger and warm it up there first instead of applying it directly to my face. I think that's a really pretty highlighter though. I feel like it just adds a little bit more glow. I'm gonna go in with my Kosas Cloud Set to take down some of this glowiness. I feel like if I left it like this, my face would slip and slide. So I have my Kosas Cloud Set in the shade Cushiony, and I'm just gonna take a really big fluffy brush and just apply this everywhere. To set the cream bronzer, I'm going to go in with my Nabla Skin Bronzing, and this is a baked formula, so I find that I kind of have to build it up on my brush a little bit. This is a Rephr 04 brush, by the way. To set the cream blush, I'm sure you guys are not surprised by this, I'm going to go in with Persona Bubble. It just really screams like spring to me, and if you've been here for any amount of time, you will know that I'm obsessed with these like cool toned pink blushes. I also did just wash all of my brushes, and I feel like that's one of my biggest accomplishments of this month because it has been probably longer than it should have been, but you know, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to leave it at that for now. I usually go a little bit blushier than this, but since we're going to do a little bit more fun of an eye look, I don't want to go too intense with the blush. I'm going to do my brows next. I'm going to hop off camera, but I'm just going to use the 3 Kosas brow products. I have the Brow Pop is in my project pan, and I'm just going to use the clear and the tinted air brow as well. Brows are done. For the eyes, I'm going to go in with the 2 palettes I have in my project pan right now. I have my Unleashia Glitterpedia palette in the shade Olive Brown. I'm going to do more of like a neutral smoky eye with this, but keep it all matte. And then from the Beauty Bay Pastels palette, I'm not quite sure what color I want to go in with yet, but I'm going to use one of these as an inner corner pop of color type of vibe. So I'm going to start off with the Unleashia palette. I'm going to start off with a Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes number 11 brush and go in with this kind of mid-toned brown. And I'm just going to put this all over my lid pretty much as a transition color. And I'm just going to try and start winging it out a little bit. So that shade is just slightly deeper than my normal skin color. So I'm going to go in with this deepest brown shade on a Katie Jane and Spectrum number 17 brush, and I'm going to focus this mostly on my lash line, and I'm just going to bring it out just a little bit just so we have like a really smoked out wing kind of moment. I'm going to take an even smaller pencil brush. This is the Spectrum and Katie Jane Hughes number 21 brush, and I'm going to go in with that same shade, but I'm really just going to focus this on the lash line just to deepen it up. Now for the Beauty Bay Pastels palette, I think I'm feeling this shade right here. This is the shade Days. It looks pretty exposed when I have it like head on like that, but if you see here, it's kind of this like mint teal color-ish on this Spectrum and K. Jane Hughes number 14 brush. And I'm gonna place this just on the inner corner. I would say the little pop of color on the inner corner is my preferred way of playing with color. I tend to do a lot of basic neutral looks, but I feel like this is just a really fun way to kind of add that color without being super intense and without going too overboard. So I feel like that looks pretty good. I'm just gonna pack a little bit more. I think that's so fun without being too in your face. I am very much like a neutrals galley at heart, so when I do play with color, it is usually like a really simple look, but I do think that's really fun. I honestly really like that. It's nothing extreme. I really like that color. I am gonna just take my finger and swipe up like this just to kind of sharpen that wing a little bit, just to give it a little bit more shape. I am going to go in with a little bit more blush just because I feel like it could be amped up a little bit. Just going to go back in with Persona Bubble. This is a Sonia Kouchak brush, by the way. I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's just a blush brush. I can feel my oil start to seep through, so I am going to go in with more powder. I'm going to go in with my Essence All About matte powder though, and I'm gonna focus this mainly in my T-zone. For lips, I think I'm gonna keep it pretty neutral. This is the NYX lip liner in the shade Nude Truffle. I typically like to smudge out my lip liner just so it doesn't look as like intense and as in your face. To top that, I'm gonna go in with Merit Taupe. I definitely want the focus to be mainly on the eyes. I feel like that's kind of the star of this show. I am going to go in with setting spray before mascara. This is the Makeup Forever Mist and Fix 24-hour hydrating setting mist. So I'm just going to curl my lashes and put on mascara. I am first going to go in with my Essence Pimel mascara base and then my Thrive Cosmetics mascara in the black shade. As another finishing touch, I'm just going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury The Super Nudes Liner Duo. I'm going to go in with the dark brown shade and just run this against my waterline. And then I'm going to go in with the nude shade on the other side on my lower waterline. I had to take a short intermission for the fire alarm that I think my candles caused, so I blew them out. Sorry if it's not super aesthetic anymore, that's fine. This is pretty much the final look though. I think it's just really fun and fresh and a little exciting for spring. Like I said, I am very much a neutrals galley at heart, but I do like having a little pop of color in the summer and spring, and this is typically how I get that pop of color, is usually just something in the inner corners to make it a little bit more fun. Like I said though, I'm not a super big color person in makeup in general, so I think this just adds a little bit something extra that, you know, I wouldn't get otherwise. So I kind of love this look. I think it's really fun. I don't think I've used that specific shade of the Beauty Bay Pastels palette as like an inner corner like that, so I think it's really fun. It's like a really pretty mint green type of color, so yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you aren't already. I am posting 2 videos a week on Mondays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time, so if you don't want to miss a post, be sure to click that little bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye!